Much news to speak on today. Donald Trump has come out on the media and has said that he would rather deal with a liberal prime minister as opposed to a conservative leadership in Canada. He says this as he states that Mr. Pierre Poilievre, leader of the Conservative Party, is not very fond of Donald Trump and is saying negative things about him, so he wouldn't want to deal with him. And he'd rather deal with the Liberals, stating that it would probably be easier for him to negotiate with someone like Mark Carney. Now, as this news comes out, many in Canada in the political spectrum are trying to dissociate themselves as far as possible from Trump. So, to have a Trump endorsement is to seem as if you are basically infected with the plague. In terms of conservatives, this is very, very apparent. However, as we see in the media, many in the mainstream have jumped on this and said that, oh, this must be a Trump mind game and he must be playing, you know, playing a move to see that the conservatives somehow get into office. And it's actually some big reverse psychology Mr. Trump is playing. And I have to say, that's very outlandish. I don't think Trump is that intuitive. We have seen him say many things, and many things he says are not very, very credible. So, and he says things very straightforward. So, if he says it like this, if he's saying it, he says what he says. He's saying what he means. And I'm particularly fond of how the media, in a sarcastic way, and how the media really jumps on any opportunity that Trump makes a comment about the conservative leader here in Canada. If in some way he supports him, they say, "Oh, look, there's the red flashing light. Trump is sponsoring Mr. Pierre Poilievre." But then when he doesn't support him and makes an opposite statement, they say, "Oh, look, he's playing a big mind game to make sure Pierre Poilievre gets into office." So it's funny that if he does it or doesn't support the conservative leader in Canada, either way, the media will portray it in some sort of negative fashion and somehow try to portray Mark Carney in a positive fashion. Um, that has been a notorious trend I've been seeing, and it seems that there's some sort of manufactured game going on here that the media wants to, prop up Mr. Carney for whatever interests or agenda they have. They might see Carney as a, of course, business leader, financial leader, or whatnot, and rightfully so. That can be stated as a legitimate argument that he has those upsides, but is it the media's place to be manufacturing that kind of image into the people's minds or trying to push people in a certain way and how to vote? I believe it's not the media's responsibility. I mean, when I talk about media, I mean legacy media, considering how much viewership and how much widespread significance they hold in Canadian public life, to be doing that to the population. They did that with Trudeau for 10 years, and look where it took us. And now they're trying to do it with Carney. They're trying to put the conservatives down. And it's a game that has been going on for decades now that the media has played. We've seen it under Harper as well, where they said that Harper has the hidden agenda or some sort of nefarious points that he isn't expressing to the population. And it's very, very pathetic back when you look in hindsight. So I recommend to the Canadian media scene to tame the way they speak. If you're not an opinionated speaker or something like I do here, then make sure to keep your media bias to a minimum and do what the media is meant to do, is report both sides of the story fairly with fair and balanced panels. I see on the CTV news they bring in the same people and they bring in some of these individuals. I forget his name, but there's this one person who worked under Paul Martin, and he's a liberal, as one of the main speakers who are just ready to jump on to any issue that comes out of the blue on the conservatives or the liberals. And they make them the first centerpiece. And then afterwards, they bring in the panels and whatnot later in the day. So, immediate reactions from people who are, of course, going to have a bias against one person or who will hold up a certain story is, in my view, of course, trying to distort the realities of the situation. What I'm trying to say here is that the media cannot be trusted when it comes to giving a fair and balanced story. Everyone has an agenda. Anyone you hear speaking has an agenda. And knowing that they're very intelligent in those executive offices, they know that whatever they say will have a sway on someone somewhere in the population. Because people don't like to do research. And if I were talking to someone right now who is confused about the political situation in this country, I'd say shut down the media, shut down YouTube, don't go onto those sites and do your own research. Look into policy yourself and think critically about everything you see, whether it's a conservative side of the politics or the liberal side. Think critically and analyze for your own. Don't go around and start touting these kind of catchy phrases like I've even heard the liberals saying now, maple syrup MAGA or something, maple MAGA about Pierre Poilievre. That is a purely liberal like Liberal Party of Canada propaganda statement. It's not very critical, it's not very analytic, and it really does a disservice to democracy when you choose as a population or choose as a person not to go look further for yourself. It honestly, whatever you get in the policies in the years to come and the years that have passed, and you're not happy with the Justin Trudeau government or you won't be happy with the governments to come, that's your fault. You're the one who voted those people in. You're the ones who didn't do the research beforehand. You can't say that they manipulated us or they deceived us or they lied to us. You could have seen it. You could have seen anything and everything that would have happened today or the days before it happened. Don't play the stupid fool. You can be better than that. That's just a little one piece I had about it. Thank you again for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe, share, and also consider donating in the link down below to support independent journalism about political scenes in Canada, because YouTube does not support such topics, and it's very hard to get monetized despite being illegible. So your support would be greatly appreciated as I continue this movement.